Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again. And before I get started with this video guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all your words of encouragement. It's tough times for sure here, but I want to let you know Frankie Tech is not going anywhere, and I will continue to bring you guys great content here on this channel in as healthy and balanced a way as possible. So today we're going to be talking about my comparison between the Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition and the Redmi K30 Pro. Let's call this the Poco F2 Pro or the K30 Pro Zoom, whatever you'd like to do, but this is the K30 Pro, which comes in at 2,999 yuan and was just announced recently in Europe for 499 euros. And this phone represents one of the best value flagships you can get this year. But you can always rely on Xiaomi to undercut even its most affordable flagship phones, and that's exactly what this Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition is trying to do with the Snapdragon 765G. This phone is bringing amazing value and specs at an even lower price. For 2,099 yuan entry level or just under 300 USD, this phone is offering some amazing specs for the price as well. So should you be looking at this Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition, or is the K30 Pro still the ultimate sweet spot when it comes to affordable, mid-range, and flagship phones? Let's have a look. Design, we have 7.9 millimeters versus 8.9 millimeters, 192 grams versus 218. So a sizable difference between these phones in terms of weight. And why is this phone so much lighter while it has a display that's almost a similar size? This Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition or Mi 10 Youth is using plastic on the sides, while the K30 Pro Zoom Edition is using metal. And in this case, weight does increase quite a bit, but I still love this cold metal feel of the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And here you see 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks on both phones, and both have IR blasters, USB-C and speakers on the bottom, and power buttons, volume rockers in the same spot. The red accent though is so nice on the K30 Pro. And nothing on this side, but we do have antenna bands on this phone and none on the 10 Lite Zoom because it is made of plastic. Now on the back we do have Gorilla Glass 5 on both the Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the K30 Pro, but I will say this matte back just looks so much more premium, and I really wish that they would just stop doing these glossy backs on phones. They look cool in renders, but once you just get your hands on them, they become real fingerprint magnets, and I'm always having to wipe down these phones, while the matte backs I can just enjoy and don't have to do that as often. And here we see the quad camera setups on the back of these phones. I like the rounded look on the K30 Pro a little bit more. While this camera module is definitely okay, it's at least a step above what we saw on the Redmi Note 9S. And on the front, no denying it, the bezel on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom is significantly large, almost double the size of the K30 Pros, and that goes for the top as well, almost double the size bezel and a notch on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition versus completely bezel-less, notchless, punch hole-less on this K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And whether you like notches or pop-ups more, there's no denying the better designed phone of these two, despite the weight increase, is this Redmi K30 Pro. Display, 6.57 versus 6.67 inch Super AMOLED. Both are using a 60 Hz refresh rate, and both are capable of HDR10 Plus with 600 nits of max brightness on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom versus 500 max on the K30 Pro. And this is one area where I think the Mi 10 Lite Zoom actually punches above its weight class. It's using a very nice panel, and the colors do have a similar pop as the K30 Pros. And both are flat panel displays, which is a plus. But looking at these phones right here, you notice one thing: the dimensions are almost the same, and on paper these phones are an almost exact equal length and width. So what gives? Why is this display so much smaller? It's merely because of bezels, and this is a clear example where Xiaomi is able to fit a larger display into a similar size body just by reducing the bezels. Add to that the inclusion of a notch, and I think it's a no-brainer guys. The better display between these two is clearly the Redmi K30 Pro. And here is YouTube playback on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And you can see just how immersive this K30 Pro Poco F2 Pro is for watching content. And the colors I feel do pop a little bit more on the K30 Pro. I have both of these phones set to most saturated colors, and yet you see there's a little bit of a warmer tone to the K30 Pro. And once again, this is where the bezels just come in and make this a less immersive experience. I have very few phones that I've tested this year that offer as immersive an experience as this Redmi K30 Pro. And in DRM Info, another area of advantage for this Redmi K30 Pro. We have L1 security level for wideband CDM versus L3 on the 10 Lite Zoom. And I guess this is the cutoff point. You'll need to get a K30 Pro or above, like a Mi 10 series phone, if you want L1 on a China ROM version of the phone. So you'll have to wait until the global release of this phone to likely get L1 on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom edition. And talking about performance, we have the Snapdragon 765 versus the 865, the two latest and most powerful chipsets, 5G capable from Qualcomm. And this is the first time I'm sharing Antutu results, version 8.3.5 on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom, 322,000, a very solid and respectable score. But look at this K30 Pro Zoom, incredible. I almost hit 600,000 in the last test on my unit, and those scores are just fantastic. And as you can see here, the K30 Pro Zoom Edition takes first spot compared to any of the official results here on Antutu benchmark. But guys, benchmarks only tell one part of the story, and in my experience with the Snapdragon 765, only the second phone I've tested it on now, it is working beautifully. This is a fast, fluid chipset. Apps open extremely quickly. I see almost zero lag in the interface, and this is a very future-proof chipset, guys, and a lot of phones will be utilizing the 765 in 2020. The 865 has been a terrific chipset, but it has also been a very pricey one, and that is the beauty of this K30 Pro. It's still bringing this great chipset to a much lower price point, but the 765 is no slouch, and when it comes to storage, you're looking at UFS 2.1 versus 3.1 on the K30 Pro. And you have 8GB DDR4X on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom versus 8GB DDR5 on the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. Look, both of these chipsets will serve you well, and there's nothing to feel bad about using a 765. But if you want the best and fastest specs and the raw power of this 865, then you're going to want to go with the Redmi K30 Pro. And talking about batteries, we have a 4,160 mAh capacity, and we have a 4,700 on this Redmi K30 Pro. We also have 22.5 watt fast charging versus 33 on this Redmi K30 Pro Zoom Edition. As you guys already know, the K30 Pro and Pro Zoom are the two champs of battery life on my channel, each notching over 11 hours of screen on time in my tests. Now, the calculated screen on time as per GSAM battery monitor is around 9 hours, but I do expect the performance of this battery to just not be to the level of the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And add to that the faster charging, and you just have an overall win here in battery life for the K30 Pro. And quick mention of the fingerprint scanners, and look at these beautiful always on displays. I love this one here on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition. So both are pretty identical when it comes to getting into the phone. I'd say the Mi 10 Lite Zoom was a little bit faster there. Let's try again. But almost identical, guys. You will notice the one thing is that the K30 Pro has it a little bit higher on the display, while the Mi 10 Lite Zoom has it a little bit lower. I kind of appreciate where this phone has it because your finger is never that low on the display. It's typically a bit higher. And so if I had to pick one here for placement and speed, I'm going with the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And now a quick audio speaker test. We have single bottom firing speakers on both these phones and 3.5mm headphone jacks. I'm going to bring the mic down. Let's have a listen. What can I say? A very interesting result here, guys. And believe it or not, the Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition did a solid job. Now, did it actually beat the K30 Pro? Not in terms of loudness and not in terms of bass, but it was a very clear and very enjoyable sound coming out of this speaker. I feel like I even heard more of the instruments from this Mi 10 Lite Zoom over the K30 Pro. Now, this could be for a number of factors. There could be waterproofing involved here that the K30 Pro has that this phone doesn't. That's sometimes will lower the sound quality on speakers, but I'm very impressed actually considering the price point of this Mi 10 Lite Zoom. It went toe-to-toe in terms of sound and bass, and in some ways it surpasses the K30 Pro in terms of just overall sound quality. Incredible. And talking about cameras, we have a 48 megapixel Omnivision OV 48B2Q sensor. And so that is not a sensor we hear about very often, but it is essentially Omnivision's competition to the Sony IMX586 and other similar types of sensors. Meanwhile, on the K30 Pro, we have the Sony IMX686, and both phones have 8 megapixel telephoto sensors, but the Mi 10 Lite Zoom does have that periscope telephoto capable of 5 times optical zoom, whereas surprisingly, the more expensive Redmi K30 Pro Zoom Edition only has a 3 times optical zoom. And then we wrap up with an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, 2 megapixel macro camera on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom versus 13 megapixel ultra-wide and a 2 megapixel depth sensor on the K30 Pro. Both phones capable of shooting 4K, only 30 FPS for this Mi 10 Lite Zoom, while the K30 Pro can do up to 60 FPS and up to a whopping 8K as well in 24 or 30 FPS. And on the fronts, we have a 16 megapixel versus a 20 megapixel pop-up, as we know, on the K30 Pro Zoom Edition. So I have taken some shots between both of these phones. Have a look at these samples and let me know what you think in the comments. And here's rear-facing video on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the Redmi K30 Pro Zoom Edition. A little overcast today, coming around to 5 p.m. And stabilization looks pretty good on the K30 Pro, that is. You can tell the colors look better already on the K30 Pro as well. But hit me up in the comments, what do you think? And here's front-facing video on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the Redmi K30 Pro Zoom Edition. A little bit of glare here on the K30 Pro. I wonder if that's because of the pop-up camera. Looks pretty good. I'm about to get run over, so I better get inside here. But hit me up in the comments. What do you think? And here we go for some PUBG mobile action. A quick showdown here between these phones. And let's see if you've noticed, guys, there's one thing that is now available on the K30 Pro. That's right, extreme settings are now available. But because they are not on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom, we're going to go HD and high. But very good to see that this game is now optimized even further for the K30 Pro. Enabled anti-aliasing in shadows. And I've disabled auto adjust graphics. Okay, and let's get started. And it's time. It's time for the classic Frankie Tech swim test. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Woo! And guys, no matter what, I will just keep swimming. And at the plane jump, how are we doing here? With the Adreno 620 on the Snapdragon 765, I don't see any stutters whatsoever on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom or on the Redmi K30 Pro. Let's get down to the surface, get some guns, get some action. And I'm all suited up here on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom. Let's see how we do today. And we are on the K30 Pro now. And I see my teammate there. Gotta get some guns though. Oh my gosh, and I'm just getting killed already here. Yes, one kill by hands. We gotta get some guns fast. We're getting killed here. Take that. Booyah, one kill on the Redmi K30 Pro. But I'm getting shot at here on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom. Take that. Oh yeah, one kill on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom, but we're right back to the K30 Pro. Fast and furious action here, guys. I don't think I've had so many kills in such a short time on both phones. Yes, 3 kills on the Redmi K30 Pro Zoom Edition. And I am near death. I better bandage up real quick. Let's see how we're doing on the Mi 10 Lite Zoom. We're doing all right. And do the notch and bezels really interrupt gameplay? They don't, guys. You'll get used to that very easily. But then coming to a bezel-less phone like this to play games, you will notice the difference. And back on the K30 Pro, let's see if we can get one last kill here with this phone. Dude, and someone is shooting at me from afar. I can't seem to find them. There they are. Yes, 4 kills on the Redmi K30 Pro. Oh yeah. And how are these phones feeling after this gameplay? Cool to the touch, and even cooler to the touch. And I think it goes even beyond the chipsets here. I think Xiaomi has done a terrific job with the cooling system in the Redmi K30 Pro. It is doing some amazing cooling of this beefy CPU here. And I'm very happy to know the fact that this is the Poco F2 Pro because it does represent, I feel, one of the best gaming experiences and best performance experiences on any phone this year. But honestly, guys, for the price, you will find no two better values in terms of just pound for pound gaming performance than on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the Redmi K30 Pro. So that's it for this video and my final verdict between the Mi 10 Lite Zoom and the Redmi K30 Pro. Now, the idea of an even lower cost Redmi K30 Pro is an appealing one. And with a decent design, terrific AMOLED display, yes it is 60Hz, but at this price point, you can't really blame it. Performance of the Snapdragon 765, is this the lowest cost 765G phone on the market? It probably is. And in terms of audio, a step above, a surprising win here for this Mi 10 Lite Zoom. And in terms of battery life, fingerprint scanners, other additional aspects of this phone, I think you're getting a lot of value here on this Mi 10 Lite Zoom Edition. And if you can look past the bezels and the notch, it could make you think, hey, we have an even better flagship killer in this Mi 10 Lite Zoom. Not so fast, guys. There's one area where this Mi 10 Youth or Mi 10 Lite Zoom just falls apart, and that is in camera performance. I don't know what Xiaomi was thinking including such a low quality camera in this phone. Sure, they could have raised the price a little bit and gotten a better sensor, and I really wish they'd even just included the Sony IMX586 from previous generations in this phone. As it stands now, the camera performance, especially in low light, just falls apart. Meanwhile, the camera on the Redmi K30 Pro series still stands up there with some of the better cameras I've seen this year. And while it's not maybe to the level of an 11 Pro Max or a Pixel 4, it still can go toe-to-toe with some of the best Android phones in the camera department. And once you add to that just the gorgeous bezel-less look, the nice metallic build, just even better design and fit and finish, the real question you're asking is this phone really worth it at that lower price point over the Redmi K30 Pro? And I think my answer is no. I think you're better off, guys, spending the extra money and going for one of the entry-level or regular K30 Pro versions. And if you can get the Zoom version, even better because you can get that dual OIS and just an even better, sleeker experience overall. Now, don't get me wrong, this Mi 10 Lite Zoom is a terrific phone. And honestly, if this was the Mi A4, I would be very happy. But there's one reason why I don't think this will be the Mi A4, and that's because of the camera. The Xiaomi Mi A series has always been focused on providing great camera quality, and I think for the price, this phone is actually the opposite. It's offering great specs and a really awesome price to performance ratio, but at the sacrifice of cameras that are just not that great. And the 50 times hybrid zoom, while impressive, cannot make up for the fact that we just have a very lousy primary camera on this phone. So it's going to come down to your personal preference. If you do value just the ultimate price to performance ratio, maybe this Mi 10 Lite Zoom is right for you, but I still think the sweet spot, after all is said and done, is right here with the Redmi K30 Pro. But hit me up in the comments, which phone of these do you like better? And do you agree with my assessment that this phone is just lacking in that camera department too much to sacrifice to not pick up this K30 Pro? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. Gosh, guys, it's amazing what one day of rest will do. My mind is just in a better place, so I really do appreciate all the support, guys. We'll keep rolling here on Frankie Tech. I'll keep making great content, but I do need to start focusing on finding a permanent job or finding new ways to support the growth on this channel, because I would hate to have to just give this all up. I love tech too much to do it, and so I gotta find the right balance that works for me and for all of you. So thanks again for all the support, guys. So that's it, and this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one.